What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. Today's video, we're taking a last-minute look at the Retro Cup at a team that looks like it's really strong for climbing in this meta. That's going to be a team submitted here by Pop-It-Leg-By-88, featuring Jumpluff lead with an Aurorus closer and Dunsparce as the safe switch. Dunsparce here is going to be luring out those fighters and other things that may not do so great, or Aurorus may not do so great, rather. Even the Mud Boys, ground types. So Jumpluff is going to be able to take care of both of those things pretty well. So if you lure it out with a Dunsparce, you hopefully free up the Aurorus for a sweep. Thank you for submitting the battles to us, trainer. Let's get into the games here and check out this team in the Retro Cup, starting off with a lead into a Drifblim. Not what you want to see here, because you do have Icy Wind. Wait a minute, Papa, no. Papa, you broke the law. Papa, no. Why? If anybody's wondering why I'm upset. Okay, I want to explain this for a moment. Let's just say, for example, that Drifblim had a Primeape in the back. You safe switch something that has a double weakness and can get walled by certain typings or have very bad matchups. If you safe switch, you basically have no chance to flip a matchup. Aurorus is an example of that Pokemon. So is Alolan Sandslash. So is something like Guzzlord that is just incredibly double weak and walled by things. So Dunsparce having the rock and ground coverage makes it an ideal safe switch. So if you see, even though Dunsparce is technically the better matchup into that Drifblim, you never really want to safe swap Aurorus, because 9 times out of 10 you'll probably have somebody hit you with the wonderful just, here, have a Primeape, here, have an Annihilate, get countered down, have no play. The opponent, however, seems to be triple weak to the Aurorus in this case, and it's paying off for Pop-A-Leg-By here as he comes in with the Dunsparce here to take out the Drifblim. Icy Wind gonna land, and the opponent, unable to get to another move here, goes down, and they have 2 Pokemon in the back. And they have the Diggersby. So I guess Diggersby technically isn't that great into the Aurorus, so I can see why they wouldn't want to bring that in. And they have an Arc-to-Back switch. I mean, okay, I guess that's fair as to why, but you got very lucky is really the end-all be-all here. Normally, this kind of luck, my luck rather, would have been like, here, have a mud slapper that resists ice. I don't know if there is one, but or here, have a Dunsparce, have a literally anything that just destroys the Aurorus, especially like a Primeape or Poliwrath even. Poliwrath would be painful, but Dunsparce is doing its work here, putting in as much damage as it can into this Diggersby, and Jumpluff is looking very good here in the back, being able to really just manhandle a poor little bunny, because you can just save a shield for the Jumpluff, and you can just get the energy off of the Jumpluff. Looking to make a switch into the Jumpluff here, trying to outpace. Does a Fire Punch? Dude, he's just going to call it. Fire Punch can't knock out here, can it? No, it cannot. Get into the Energy Ball for the knockout blow on charge attack priority. That is going to take out Chungus Boy here, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. Papa, if you safe swap that Aurorus again, I'm going to be very upset. Jumpluff into a Kingdra, really nice lead, because we have the Fairy Wind and the spammy moveset of Aerial Ace. And by the way, I know that there has been some interesting, discussion around whether or not you should keep or acrobatics on your Jumpluff, or if you should get it to Aerial Ace. Personally, I prefer Aerial Ace because you're still getting that nice, quick hitting damage out instead of having to rely on acrobatics. Like, Jumpluff only really has a good matchup into fighters, for example, when you have the Aerial Ace, because then you don't have to get so much energy to get to a flying type move. But opponent swapping in a Nidoqueen here in response to this Dunsparce, or was it, I don't know, I was talking, I don't know. But doesn't matter, because Dunsparce is going to make quick work of the Nidoqueen. Having this Drill Run, super effective coverage, is going to hit very hard, and even those rollouts are really starting to chunk the remaining health here. Dunsparce is going to let that go. Aurorus can come in and get a nice little farm down. Opponent has a Talonflame, but they don't know. Oh, no, why'd you concede? Why didn't you let me have it? Good game. Oh. I wanted the one shot. I wanted it so bad. Speaking of really nice leads, though, we got Meganium here on the lead, and the opponent's immediately forced to switch out, and Tentacruel is met by the Dunsparce. And even though the Aurorus resists the poison type damage here, it would take super effective from the water type charge moves. And holy mother of frame drops, we could take a shot for every frame drop in this video, and I would have been drunk 8 minutes ago. The video hadn't even started then, but man, they're just so bad on Android. Why Niantic fix this? I don't know, but it's just miserable, and I am so sorry for Android players that have to suffer through it every day. It's quite ridiculous. Going for the Drill Run here to get the second shield off of this Tentacruel, the opponent really wanting to get switch advantage here, and now's a chance for Aurorus to come in and get a nice farm up, take a super effective Scald and see that this Jumpluff is probably the key to victory here. We don't know yet. Maybe it could be a gamble. We don't know what's in the back yet. Weather Ball is going to be able to knock the opponent out. The Meganium is going to come back in, and clearly whatever they have in the back is going to be good against that Jumpluff. Jumpluff is going to come back in, and oh no, they have the Dugong, but Dugong is down a shield, and this Jumpluff has access to Energy Ball. Energy Ball is going to do a lot of damage, and even after a debuff from the Icy Wind, I think that the Jumpluff is going to be able to do enough damage here, or even farm down. Going for the Energy Ball here soon. Excuse me, as we get it. Going on 2 is not a bad idea here in order to not take the extra damage from the ice shards, but the opponent's only able to get to an Earthquake or a Frenzy Plant here. Both are double resisted, and that means that Jumpluff is unnecessarily swapping out. Maybe, no, never mind. We're trying to reset the debuff. That's what it was. I'm like, wait, what was this? I was baffled, but then I remembered there was a debuff. So that's going to be a good game. Well played. We're getting into the next game here with a Mirror League Jumpluff into Jumpluff. Jumpluff on Jumpluff violence here. And there it is. We are luring out the Gastrodon so that hopefully Aurorus doesn't have to be matched up with it later on. The opponent is going to be able to take 2 drill runs here, and Dunsparce can take an Earth Power, but it'll get farmed down afterward. The opponent does decide to go for the Earth Power as well, but this is a fantastic farm down opportunity for the Jumpluff. The opponent decides not to switch. That is a lot of energy that Jumpluff is going to be able to just freely get by double resisting all of the fast move pressure. They're just going to go for this massive farm down, and this is going to be too much energy. Unfortunately, that is going to be the death of the opponent's Jumpluff lead, is being down that much energy. There's no way that they could possibly catch back up, so the opponent is now forced to come in with their Dunsparce, and Aurorus doesn't really want to see this either, but I'm assuming that in this case, Pop Leg was happy enough to just stay in with a Jumpluff and just wear down this wear down the Dunsparce in order to allow the Aurorus to be on the opponent's Jumpluff, because that damage would do a lot in that double super effective ice damage. Now we are forced to give up the shield here. The opponent has a shield as well. Are they going to fire off this Energy Ball? They don't know what's in the back. And here we go. Defense drop at the opponent. Wait, refund. I saw that. They were totally hitting the button, but nice quick reflexes here. Getting into this Aurorus can easily tank the Energy Ball, and we go up to 2 charge moves just about in order to have enough energy to take out that pesky Dunsparce in the back. But that's almost going to do it, but the Jumpluff can't get to a move here, and Dunsparce is going to come back, and I'm assuming that Jumpluff probably had acrobatics, because they would have thrown the Aerial Ace there if they had it, which would have been a huge benefit for them, because then they would have actually been able to prevent that damage from possibly coming through on the Dunsparce later. But the Energy Ball is going to take it there, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. All right, moving on to the next game. We get another Jumpluff on Jumpluff action here. The Jumpluffception. In comes Dunsparce, and a Primeape is set to answer the Dunsparce. Nice timing here, recognizing the switch, throwing an odd number, and then the move. And then the roll run will nearly 2-shot here. The opponent's going to be forced to fight for a close combat, and they do. And that's going to give Jumpluff a huge amount of energy here. Again, Jumpluff just needs to get an Aerial Ace advantage on that opposing Jumpluff, and it's going to be able to do a lot here. The opponent coming back in with the Jumpluff, and Jumpluff is just ready to fire off these Aerial Aces, and in comes the Aurorus. It's testing the waters. That's a Feraligatr. Can we get the bait? 2 shields up. If we correctly bait, that Meteor Beam is going to be painful, and no, we're going straight for the Meteor Beam. There is no baiting. Please, 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 please. Oh, come on, Feraligatr, you party pooper. That's why nobody likes you. You're a party pooper. Hydro Cannon's going to knock out the Jumpluff, but Jumpluff up a shield here, getting the perfect overfarm before the opponent gets to an Ice Beam, or even the Hydro Cannon for that matter, to bait. The opposing Jumpluff comes back in, but now the Jumpluff is behind and just might not be able to get to a move. You're going to have to get the 2 Aerial Aces here at least to be able to knock this out. And can you outpace before the opponent's able to get to a second move? But they win charge attack priority, which means that there's very low chance for Papa Legba's shiny little Jumpluff. It needs to get that edge. It needs a coin flip CMP, but no, the opponent has too much energy. They're not going to be able to make it, and that's going to take out the shiny Jumpluff. Poor Pink Puff goes down, and that's a good game. Well played. Now, imagine had we safe switched that Aurorus. That would have been disastrous. That Primeape farms you all the way down, and even Jumpluff cannot come through all of those Rage Fists. But making a nice 4-1 to get up to the near veteran range here. So, into the next game, we're going to have a Dugong. This is a tough one here. Aurorus has a very good matchup, you know, having that resisted ice damage and getting those Meteor Beams. but Dugong can fight right back in that matchup with the Drill Run. So the Dunsparce comes out here and brings out the Oranguru, which is one of the other top picks in this meta due to that normal psychic typing. And that is really the only thing, aside from Girafarig, like, that, I mean, you just can't. You can't wall it, man. And Dragon as well. Like, Dragon is just insanely oppressive in this meta. So you really have to be able to get past it. Now, we're going to be able to soak a move, and that might allow the Jumpluff to get some extra farm here. But I don't know. You'd have to get a really nice over farm here in order to be able to get to an energy ball before the opponent can come back in with that Dugong and get a move off. But they are going to be up a shield here, going for the energy ball on good timing. This is actually really, really good for Papa because now he gets a shield up, comes in with the Aurorus. The opponent is going to have that Drill Run, but do we decide to call a bait here? Icy Wind is likely. We just got the shield. The opponent does full send. We respect it when the opponent full sends, but now the Aurorus can just go for the Meteor Beam and up a shield. That thing is going to be able to ramp up the damage twice from second Meteor Beam, and we're going to call it. The Drill Run not going to do enough damage to knock out the Aurorus, but now Papa Legba can go for the second Meteor Beam, and whatever's in the back must not like this Aurorus because it is not swapping in. The opponent has a Jumpluff, and that's going to be a knockout. The opponent knows it's over, and they concede. Well played. Getting into the next game, we got Jumpluff against Flygon. This is probably one of the hardest answers you could possibly have to Flygon. Thankfully for the Flygon, though, it does have Dragon Tail, able to do that neutral, hard-hitting, super effect, or normal, neutral damage. Neutral, hard-hitting. Dude, I was on a roll, and I had to derail somewhere. The Energy Ball is going to do a ton of damage to the Flygon. The opponent is not going to be able to get to their charge move before this next Aerial Ace is reached. Aerial Ace is going to get the shield. In comes Aurorus, looking for that snipe, but the opponent looks to throw a move right away, but it's only going to be that Dragon Claw, and that is enough to knock out the Flygon, and in comes Dunsparce, but up his shield and up this much energy. I mean, even though it was only one Powder Snow. But this is what we call Aurorus doesn't care about typings. It just goes in through the shielded, through the shields, everything, dude. You're just gonna get to farm down this Dunsparce. No, looks like Papa Leg was very happy to let this go. Dunsparce on his own is gonna come in, but there is a Superior in the back, and that's going to be really tough because Jumpluff has to come in pretty quick here to neutralize this thing. But unfortunately, the catch... Wait a minute. Did we catch the Frenzy Plant? That's going to be the big one here. Frenzy Plant was caught. That's a lot of energy wasted on the Superior, but they overfarmed enough to be able to get to the Aerial Ace, and that is unfortunately going to be it for Jumpluff here as Dunsparce now has to come in and try to finish this game all on its own, but I don't think it can. It's really going to depend on this opponent here. Are they going to be able to play out of this pickle that they're in? Dunsparce looking for the shield, maybe trying to get a farm down. Those rollouts are adding up, and it's able to get the farm down a shield, but up a ton of energy. In comes the opponent's Dunsparce. We have the back-to-back Drill Runs just about here, and that shield is going to take it. Gonna get taken, and Drill Run is gonna go for the KO on the Dunsparce, and that's gonna do it, dude. That's all three Pokemon down. That's gonna be a good game. Well played. Getting into the next game, we got Jumpluff on the lead versus Jumpluff, one of the hottest leads in the Retro Cup right now, apparently. Opponent immediately swaps in Dunsparce, and this is actually a difficult decision to make here, because if you swap in your Dunsparce, you are never going to get switched if your opponent has made the switch first. They will always be one move ahead, and will be able to get to the knockout move faster than you. So in this case, though, I think Pop is in a really interesting position here, because he doesn't need switch against the Jumpluff. Both of his Pokemon are going to have very good play into that thing. So we're just going to have to see how these two decide to play this out. Dunsparce going for the shield. Does it want to go for a second? It does. Dunsparce is going to try to get the opponent out of here. Their Dunsparce either has to give up the shield or is going to have to go down, and the opponent does decide to let their Dunsparce stay alive and shield up. Now, who's going to come in to get this farm down? It's really difficult to say, because honestly, you really can't safely farm down here. Going for the Aerial Ace right away to neutralize this Dunsparce. It's going to go down, and in comes the opponent's Aurorus. It's a mirror team, but the problem is that the Aurorus is going to have the advantage here. Going to easily be able to get this Weather Ball off, and should even outpace to the Meteor Beam, which is super effective. Now, unfortunately, we're getting denied because Niantic still hasn't fixed frame drops. However, the opponent is going to have to eat a super effective Meteor Beam on the Aurorus, and that's going to do a lot of damage. I got the button ready. It's not going to one-shot, is it? Please.
Boom!
Oh, baby! That's what I'm talking about. That's it. Yes. We get a good game here. Next one up. Clodsire in the next game. Definitely want to get into the Dunsparce here as Jumpluff takes super effective from Energy Ball, or from... That's the case if you're saying a sentence and you read something and it completely takes the place of whatever was in your brain. No. The Jumpluff is going to take super effective from these sludge bombs and the Stone Edge, whatever this Clodsire has. But the opponent is playing a similar backline possibly here, as they have an anti-fighting lead with a backline that seems to be maybe weak to fighting. But Dunsparce is going to come in and get this move off before Dunsparce can get a move off. He's going to go ahead and shield to protect it, going for that drill run, trying to take some damage off of this Dunsparce. As we saw in the last game, Papa is more than happy to go down shields in order to get rid of this threat. And Jumpluff could come back in here and try to get rid of the Dunsparce here before they're able to get to... Nope, you got to get to that Rock Slide, but you have to eat it. And you have to hope here that Aurorus can just clean up in the back. We're going to have to see how this goes here as Jumpluff goes for yet another Aerial Ace. And Aerial Ace is going to get the KO here. What's coming in next? It's going to be that Clodsire. We're going for that Energy Ball here, looking to hopefully maybe get shield parity. If the Aurorus comes in, it's going to have to shield up. The opponent decides to swap quickly. Unfortunately for them, that gives a full free farm down to this Aurorus. But the other problem that this that the Clodsire might have is that they don't have an Earthquake. And they needed one. In order to get this move off, they would have needed to get to that Earthquake, but now they're at the Earthquake, but it's too little too late as Aurorus is able to get 2 moves off here, and now it's all going to come down to Jumpluff. I think an Aerial Ace will do enough from here. Stone Edge is going to get the knockout on the Aurorus, and in comes Jumpluff to try to prove itself worthy of winning this game. Aerial Ace is going to come through and knock out the Clodsire. That's going to take it. That's a well-played game there. Next game up, we got Jumpluff into Feraligatr. This is not as good a lead as you think, but the opponent decides to swap out anyway, and we are left without a solid response to this Pokemon. Licky Licky is a very difficult thing for this team to work with, because again, like all the rollout users, you don't have a hard thing to resist those. You just have to play around the damage. The opponent goes in full, sends a Hyper Beam, and we respect that here. I'm going to give it to him. That was nice. Boom! We love Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam Licky is incredible, but there's all kinds of incredible Licky, but Dunsparce is more incredible today because it's going to win the charge attack priority tie and get the shield from the opponent. They are fully down shields, and they force swap in the Primeape here, which is going to be a great situation for this Jumpluff because also you're able to keep Aurorus off of the Primeape. The opponent, if they had not swapped, they might have been able to lock their Primeape onto the Aurorus, and now Aurorus is in the back saying, thank goodness I don't have to get pummeled into oblivion by a walking Mad Pig. Now, Licky is going to come back in. Are we going to save the shield for the Aurorus? No, they're going for the Shadow Ball. They've revealed the full moveset of being Shadow Ball and Hyper Beam. Gotta respect it. Might even be out of TMs, just like most of the other players. Niantic, fix your TM system. My goodness. The Shadow Ball is going to be enough, but can we get to the Meteor Beam? The opponent going for the Hydro Cannon. Is it enough? It's a Shadow Feraligatr. This is going to hurt, dude. Hydro Cannon knocks out the Aurorus. Boom! A very, very sad loss, but another 4-1. We take those all day, climbing up even further past the veteran. Now, how far can we go? How high can we go? Another set indeed. We got Jumpluff on Jumpluff, Violence again in this next game. And the opponent's going to safe switch into a Clodsire instead of looking to play any bit of that out, meaning that they probably have 2 better answers in the back. Jumpluff. Stay hydrated, folks. You're going to see this Dunsparce do a cartwheel and go for the drill run, and then it's going to do it all over again. Somersault going for the drill run. Gymnastics Dunsparce is at it again, and the Dunsparce has gotten this Clodsire extremely low, but unfortunately, that is a difficult farm down for Jumpluff to make, and it would force, it would honestly force the Aurorus to come in, and that kind of shows the opponent the entire team, which would be very difficult to get around, especially because they have a Dunsparce, which is definitely not at all good. So they have a Jumpluff in the lead here, and now they have a Dunsparce. Again, another similar team here with 2/3 of the mirror team, but the opponent is instead rocking that Clodsire instead of the Aurorus. But the Dunsparce is able to put some damage in, and I think that Jumpluff might have a solid chance here to get some damage as well, because even though Rock Slide is super effective, it does, I believe, take 3 of them to knock out a Jumpluff, especially from full HP. So we're going to see him go straight for the Energy Ball and hope to lock the Aurorus in on the opponent's Jumpluff. And it looks like the opponent's saving a shield for the Jumpluff, hoping it can sweep, and they're about to be very disappointed as the Aurorus comes in and makes them have a terrible day, as Jumpluff is just like, oh, it's cold, blanket me in your shield, and it's not enough because even Jumpluff can go for the Energy Ball here. Doesn't make a difference here. Unfortunately, shielding up one. I think it would have been wisest to no shield that first move, knowing that you can live an energy ball and overfarm even more if it was an energy ball. But that's okay, because that's going to be enough here, as the Dunsparce has almost no HP left on the bar, and that's going to be taking out the Dunsparce and having just, that was a great, this is some good gameplay, dude. Well played. Papa has more than redeemed himself since that first game when we safe swapped the Aurorus. Now we're getting into a Dragonair, and both Aurorus and Jumpluff have very positive play here, being able to outpace with those aerial aces and deal super effective Fairy Wind damage. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the What? Huh? Why are we throwing resistant energy balls, trainer? No, 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 no. I just praised you for not happening. We always want to go for aerial ace there. The dragon typing does resist. I have a feeling that maybe Papa was trying to, like, 5-head kind of catch somebody. Like, maybe you were expecting them to come in with a different Pokemon to catch the aerial ace, perhaps, and that would make sense to me if that was what the case was. But all the shields down now. Oh, and the Galvantula's go! The Feraligatr comes in to get the snipe, but all shields are down, and Jumpluff, even though it's not a shadow, can darn near one-shot with this energy ball, and it's going to do it right now. Here goes the energy ball. Feraligatr is sad. And is going to get knocked out in one hit. Galvantula is not getting to enough moves here to be able to take out the Aurorus before it gets to that Meteor Beam that will more than knock out that the poor little Spooter. Oh, you want him ASMR? Yes. Boom. That's it, baby. Boom. We take those. We get into the next game. Jumpluff and a Girafarig. You get a nice pacing advantage here, but these confusions do chunk very quickly. It would very much behoof our Papa Legba here to be able to get out of this matchup at some point, because those psychic things are going to add up very quickly. The opponent is likely to double shield here, as most Girafarigs like to just shield everything because of how frail it is. So that could really open up Papa here for a potential sweep later on in the game. Going for another Psychic things, most likely. Most Girafarig don't really have any other moves other than Trailblaze, which there's no real reason to go for Trailblaze here. But the opponent unable to get to the next move, and they're going to have an Oranguru in the back. They're playing an ABA Psychic strat. I gotta wonder what's going to be their third Pokemon. Now, not going for the rollout here makes sense if you're not sure if you get knocked out by that confusion, because if you try to go for the rollout and get the move after the rollout, you may not be able to even get the move off, because that confusion damage would register on the same turn as the charge move would start for the Dunsparce. So that makes a lot of sense as to why that play went off. I wasn't sure myself if it was going to be able to live, but the opponent is looking for a potential farm down in a shield, but the Oranguru is going to swap out and release the Arctibax, but the opponent is not going to enjoy having to deal with Meteor Beams at all. They're going to be going for a charge move, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The no shield is coming out from the Aurorus. That is a wild no shield. The Dragon Claw would have nearly knocked out, and Meteor Beam's going to do it here, but the Oranguru, if it had gotten one more infusion, dude, oh, it was close. Good game, though. Jumpluff into Diggersby very, very nice lead. However, Diggersby can fight back with a Fire Punch. However, it does need to get out at some point to avoid taking an Energy Ball, which would be significantly more painful to Diggersby than the Fire Punch would be. Now, going for the Energy Ball right away, the opponent may have been looking to make a catch, but catching him off guard here, throwing right away is also a way to go. The opponent maybe is weak in the back as well to the Jumpluff. Might be, at some point, worth swapping out of this matchup, maybe getting a shield advantage. Then going to Dunsparce might be the play here. The opponent's just going to let the bunny go, but you can see he was looking for that swap into the Dunsparce there after he's throwing that move. So we're on the same wavelength. This is all good. I know exactly. This is the pro plays Papa Legba 88's making today. Going to be going for Bone Clubs. This is a very bad matchup for the Dunsparce. However, being up a little bit of energy means that Dunsparce can get to 2 drill runs and get that Marowak extremely low and force it to throw energy, as those rollouts would threaten a knockout. And now in comes the Jumpluff to clean up. No, the Aurorus comes in, and here, oh, dude, not getting to the move. No, man, just staying with the Aurorus, I think. I don't know if he's trying to make a catch, but the opponent is going to have to make some good calls here. Icy Wind, no drill run is going to not do any damage here as it gets shielded. The opponent going for another move. This is risky. Basically, we have to land the Meteor Beam. The opponent goes for the drill run, tries to call the Icy Wind bait. The opponent showing all of their cards, you're just, I'm not going for anything but double, or I'm not going in for anything with super effective throw runs. You can bet. Now they're going to go for the Icy Wind. Watch. There it is, because they know that it would knock out that. In that case, we go for the Icy Wind. But now Papa Legba is making the call. Does the opponent shield the Weather Ball? Yes, they do, but they can't make the catch the Weather. Oh, man, the Meteor Beam. Here it comes, baby.
Boom!
Oh, beautiful. And the Marowak gets farmed down afterward. Good game. Aurorus is absolutely on a rip today, and a Shadow Gyarados in the lead the next game. This, to me, seems like it's most likely going to be probably Gyarados with Double Dragon. That's a very typical team where you see Shadow Gyarados, and then you see like Double Dragon in the back. I fully expect that in this game. The opponent's going to bring in a Ringaroo, so no, they have the Dragon lead with the Psychic in the back. We're going to see what the opponent has as their third, but this is a pretty good situation because that Shadow Gyarados did take a lot of damage here and ended up throwing a Crunch before swapping out. This is a very good situation if we can get to the charge move just like that. Drill Run gonna do enough damage or get the shield here, and the opponent's forced to give up their final shield just to get off some brutal swings on the jump up. Brutal swing, not going to do very much damage, but they do have two of them. But at this point, you save the shields for Aurorus, because if the opponent didn't bring a fighter into the Dunsparce, they're not going to have one, and that's where you know the Aurorus is going to do well here. Aurorus is going to shield up the Aqua Tail. That would do a lot of damage, and they're going to go for that Weather Ball. That'll do enough to knock out the Gyarados because it doesn't have a shield to hide behind anymore. What's the opponent going to have in the back? It's going to be the Diggersby, and maybe they try to make a catch here, but it's too soon. The Twitch clock is definitely not back up this soon. Weather Ball, nearly enough to two-shot. And do you call the Scorching Sands? The opponent going for that Fire Punch. Only neutral damage here. They cannot make the catch. This Weather Ball is going to do more super effective damage. Nearly taking out the Diggersby. Going for the catch, but they both have the same exact idea. Ringaroo getting knocked out, and the opponent concedes that match. And that is going to clean up. What was that? That was a nice clean 5-0 there it was. Yes, it was. Okay. We just gained 200 ELO in one video, dude. Almost. That's, no, not 200. 150, 160. That's right. Because it's plus 70 or so for the 5-0, and then the 2-4 ones end up being about 80. So about 150 ELO with this team. I'm telling y'all, if you stuck around this long, and if you have a team that you need to put together for some last-minute climbs, and you're not sure what to play in the Retro Cup, and you don't want to play open leagues today, go ahead and try this team, because honestly, you can see Papa Leg was playing around Dunsparces and doing well. You just got to manage your energy and your shields and let that Aurorus cook. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.